Yo, what's cracking, guys? In this video, I'm going to be going over how to invoice your job once it's complete. So this can happen in a variety of ways. A lot of times when you complete the job, the client is actually on site. A lot of times you're working in a home, so the homeowner is there. When you finish, that's a really nice time to do a walkthrough, have them check over all of your work. If it's something where they would understand what they're looking at. For painting, it's easy for us because we just kind of show them the room. If they like the finish quality and everything's good, then we get the job approved. And if there was no deviation from the original quote to what the invoice would be, a lot of times we can get paid that day, which is always nice because it saves them some paperwork, it saves you some paperwork, and they can just cut you a check and you can be on your merry way, which is super nice. If that is not the case and you had add-ons or they'd prefer to be billed out more formally, then that's when you say, really appreciate the work. You guys were a pleasure to work for, if that in fact was true. But then, you head back to your office and at your desk, and then you punch up your invoicing form. And I would recommend doing this as quickly as possible once the job is complete, just so you can get the payment process started. So we're going to go over to the screen capture, and I will show you guys my standard invoicing format. So, all right, you can see we're still sticking with my original client, which was Bob and Jane Smith. And in this particular job, they only went with items 1 and 2. So they went with the master bathroom and master bedroom. And so that's the only work that we completed. And again, it's pretty similar to the quote format. You'll just notice a few differences here. Down at the bottom part of the invoice, it says total amount due, and it's these two line items together, which is $745 and $1,240 added together, which gives us a total of $1,985. And you really want to make this over the top obvious of how much the bill is actually, how much is due. So that's why it's bolded, it's underlined, and it's bigger than all of the other fonts on the page. And then you can see the date at the top is the date that I invoiced them on, so 3/15/2018. Now, depending on your payment window, that's going to vary depending on your company policy. Josh and I have a 30-day payment policy unless it's, an exceptional circumstance. Sometimes we've done 15-day. So you can see I invoiced on 3/15/2018, and I have payment due by April 15th, 2018. So that gives them a month. And people generally pay pretty quickly. At least that's been our experience. Once they get the invoice, they will usually pay you within a week or so. And they're going to get this invoice, and then most people will send you a check in the mail. And so it's super important to, again, down here it says, please remit payment to Vassar Painting, and then that's our address, 555 Fake Street in Nowhereville, PA. We've gotten invoiced from other subcontractors where they don't even put their address in here. It's very important because that's where the money's coming. You should really include that and have a payment schedule for them, just letting them know when payment is due. So that's pretty much the very basic invoice structure that I use, my format. Again, I'm going to come up here and I would recommend, we're going to come up here and export to PDF, and it's going to keep the title, so Bob and Jane Smith interior invoice. I'm going to export that to my quote 2018 file, and then we're going to come over here to our mail client. Okay, so we've exported our invoice into a PDF, and I'll just mention this for a second. If you have, again, an older client that you sent the original estimate via snail mail, very likely you're going to be sending them the invoice via snail mail again. So when you invoice them, it's really nice to send them a pre-addressed envelope with your address on it. So that, and a lot of times Josh does this a lot, where he'll put a stamp on it as well. And then that way it's very simple for them to open up your invoice, look at it, write you a check, stuff the envelope. It's already pre-stamped and everything. Get that in the mail, and that way you're getting paid. It's just like a nice thing to do that kind of cuts down some of their time and creating a more frictionless exchange from the quote to the work to the invoice to getting paid. But a lot of times that's not going to be the case. That's why we went and did the invoice the way that we did it on the computer, and we've saved it as a PDF. Now we're going to come in and I'll show you guys my invoicing email. So again, it is bobjane@aol.com, and then again I keep it very simple in the header of the subject, which is Vassar Painting interior invoice. And if you've worked for them before, or you have multiple emails to them, you can get a little more specific if it's like a bathroom invoice or whatever work you did. So I would say again, hi Bob and Jane, and then I'll just type this out real quick, but I'll say, I hope you're doing well. Doing well, and then either a happy face or an exclamation point. I was someone that did not like using emojis and different emoticons and the exclamation points, but it really does flavor your emails in a positive light, and it kind of makes sure that the client knows that you're being positive and happy in your exchange. As dumb as it may look on your computer, or however you feel, because they don't hear your voice, they're just reading your text. So you want to be very obvious in conveying your message. So again, I said, I hope you're doing well. I've attached the invoice for the work we completed. And then my standard line is, let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Have a great, and then my parting line for an invoice, because a lot of times you're not going to see these clients for a while, I usually say, instead of like have a great week or have a great weekend, I'll say like have a great summer, because it's whatever kind of season you're in. So like have a great spring, whatever you're close to, and then another exclamation point, or you can do a little emoticon of a smiley face, and then that's my name again, and then I'm going to come in here and attach my PDF, which is in my handy quotes 2008. Normally I would have an invoice 2018 folder, which I normally do, but I created a fake one for this particular demonstration. So I'll come up here to my interior invoice. I'm going to attach that, and then you can even preview it here in my email client. So that is the finished invoicing email. I have done thousands of these, and that's the pretty standard way that I do them. It doesn't need to be fancy. Just, again, you want to convey a sense of professionalism. Again, they're going to be looking at the price. That's the main thing, is the cost of the job, where to send it, and what time frame they have in order to send payment. So that is how I do it. I hope that was helpful, and I will see you in the next video.